Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is the video that I think at least most people look forward to over the course of the year, and that is the end of the year entire collection flip through. So I will be flipping through every single one of my Photocard collection binders today for my BTS collection. These videos certainly are not fun to film and they are certainly not fun to edit, but they are really fun to watch. So this is my offering to you. I'm greatly looking forward to watching all the ones that come out this year. So I'm just going to get through very quick pleasantries and then we will get on to it. So hello, hi, my name is Elle. This is a BTS collection channel. So this collection flip through is going to be entirely BTS. My alts are Jimin and Tae. So if I'm going to collect anything, it's at least going to be theirs. I also sometimes collect Yoongi and Namjoon, and also an increasing amount of OT7 sets have also joined the collection this year. I think this is also a really good time capsule because I have some plans next year for things that I want to rearrange. So with that out of the way, I'm just going to get started. First, as always, with my Korean album binder. I lied, but first, there is a supply stock linked in my description that should include a link to all the supplies that you will see in this video. If I'm missing something, feel free to let me know. And two, this year, I'm not going to go through and name everything. If you are curious about what something is, please leave me a timestamp down below and I will tell you. Okay, so with all of that out of the way, let's get started with my Korean album binder. Obviously, this collection went through a huge change this year, and that's because I decided to finally complete my OT7 album collection. So with a few exceptions, as we can see here, School Love Affair, I don't have everybody's in and out. I only have the in and out for the people that I originally collected these for. This one is signed. I'm still looking for an Arms in Tae sign, so hit me up if you ever see one. Please. These are also all new press. I don't have any of the old press, but to my standards, I'm very happy to say that I feel like I completed OT7 for album in the way that makes sense for me. So obviously this collection went through a lot this year. I would also say that I'm really happy with the way that this collection changed, not only because of the OT7, but because I feel like I put a lot of time and effort into aesthetically making it look nice. I was able to complete collecting for broadcast this year, and I really worked hard to make these custom pages, so everything just fit nice in this part of my collection too. It's definitely a great joy of mine, my album collection now, because I think it just looks basically exactly how I want it to look, and that's really all I can ask for. So that being said, if there is a pocket page that I customized, I will try to point it out so you're not looking for it on the dock. For example, this page is definitely my own Frankenstein creation. I made the columns and then I also made this little holder placement for the broadcast cards because I truly did not know what to do with these cards. And while I definitely don't think it's my best work that I've ever done, I think for now I'm totally okay with that being the way that those are displayed as we go into the wings section, because I simply just don't know what to do with some of the bigger inclusions sometimes. But anyway, that wraps up part 1 of the album binder. I will get part 2. Part 2 of the album collection comprises of Love Yourself all the way up through A Map of the Soul 7. It's definitely the binder where you can see there was an expansion of inclusions for the releases with the start of Love Yourself, but it's certainly not the worst offender. I think that's the 3rd binder. Once we get to B and Butter and Proof, there's definitely an explosion of inclusions. I feel like even in this point when there were multiple per release, there was still some restraint regarding the amount of inclusions that came out during one comeback. It's really crazy to see how much you can fit in one binder for however many eras in the earlier eras versus how much, or more specifically, how little fits in these type of binders once you get into the current era. But that being said, I do really like these binders, though it definitely does inflate the amount of binders that I have. I think they look really nice. They sit nice on my shelves. They're protected more from the elements. And I like the ability, I think, ultimately to stand my pages upright. I was not able to stand upright my binder when it's in the big white binders because the pages are just kind of too big for those binders. They end up crinkling and bending a bit if you stand those up. So I think this is the next best solution, because there definitely are inclusions that BTS have that are a little dangerous for always keeping your binder laying flat. This is a new edition that didn't make it in time for the binder update, but I did complete Jimin's Persona Broadcast gift. Speaking of which, the fan is sitting right here in front of me, but it made me really happy to track down these inclusions. And then I have Tae's Vante photos right behind them. For BTS World, I didn't decide to collect OT7 because OST album, I don't know, it's debatable. For me, I just didn't feel the need to, so we jumped pretty quickly back into Map of the Soul 7 and have these sets complete. And this marks the end of the part 2 binder. Here is part 3, which is B through Proof. I did decide, since B is the first time they did traditional individually randomized pre-order benefits, I decided I wanted to collect OT7 for the Korean benefits. I do not currently collect OT7 for the Japanese pre-order benefits, but you never know with me. Currently, I still feel good in that decision not to do it. This is also the first era of lucky draws. For lucky draws for B especially, I decided to only do Jimin and Tae, but as we get into the later eras, there are some lucky draws that I decided to do OT7 for, or I also collected Yoongi for. So this is B basically wrapped up, and then we go into Butter Permission to Dance, starting off with the pre-order benefit strips and my collaging, which I still every day contemplate, should I take apart or not? I never end up doing it, and I think this is the second or third year that this page has still survived in my binder. I don't know, it's kind of fun, and then other times I'm like, why is there a collage there? I really don't have a collage anywhere else in my collection, yet there it stays. So anyway, this is more in the general section. I had some of the more special event cards at the front, and then we get into the regular album PCs. These are the message cards all folded, and then the 3 store lucky draws. For people who don't know and are just looking at my collection now, I used to only collect Yoongi, Jimin, and Tae for Korean album, which is why I did their 3 lucky draw stores for Butter era. Now we move into Proof. These are the Japan fan club ones. That singular one for Jimin is the UMS one as well, but it really starts off our Proof section and moves into the numerous inclusions one could collect for Proof. These are the broadcast cards. They look fairly similar to cards in the door concept, but as people who watch my channel know, that's a constant point of complaint from me, so I'm just gonna be quiet about it. Because truly there's nothing we can do at this point but just collect the door concept over and over. This is my only OT7 lucky draw set because I love it. I think everyone looks so gorgeous. And then these are just the remaining lucky draws and non-randoms. Then we move into the bigger inclusions. I've tried to do a lot of mirroring of the OT7 sets in my collection now, and I think I'm really a big fan of it. I haven't done it for everything, but I've done it for a lot. Here is the Proof Collector's Edition section. So here's an example of it not being mirrored, but that's more because I've been lazy about switching them around, because as you can see, I don't always custom make pages. Sometimes these are taped into sleeves, which is what's happening with these cards. So to be able to flip them over, they need to be untaped and remaneuvered, and I just haven't had a chance to do that yet. So perhaps a goal for the new year. But anyway, this basically wraps up the Korean album section. I have their accordion cut up into these 6 pocket pages. And then lastly, I did put the Bastion's OST cards in here because they're the same concept, and they were recording this or writing it during In the Soup 2, so in my head it's still chapter 1. And that is the end of my Korean album photocard collection. Here we are in my Japanese/Taiwanese collection. I start first with the Japan fan club renewals, and then I have these, they're just the Japan fan club mobile survey cards, because the rest of my Japan fan club stuff I usually get in OT7 form, but I didn't for these, so I decided to put them here. But it is the starter page when I really just have Jimin and Tae. For these cards, I did decide to do my bias line because they're so cute. They're the Hollow fan club renewals, if you are wondering, and as you can see, we're kind of going in reverse chronology order. So then these are the earliest Japan fan club renewals. I'm quite obviously missing Jimin for the first, second, and third, I believe, but I was able to complete Tae's this year, and it's definitely a goal of mine to complete Jimin's. And then Jimin does join the page, and they're finished out until they made the change changed to go to Photocard size things. So these are the earliest Japan fan club renewals, and then these are the later iterations of them. I start with these for really no other real reason besides the fact that I really like the Japan fan club renewals. They're definitely my favorite Japanese merch to collect, so that's why I start there. A little insight into my Japanese collection: this used to be made for an A5 binder, which is why it may feel like I have a strange amount of cards, particularly as it relates to Yoongi and Namjoon, but it's because I used to have an A5 setup and then I since moved it into an A4 because I just thought all the big inclusions that I had fit a lot better in here. So I'm happy with it. I know it's not the perfect aesthetic because of the strange cards that I have, but at this current point in time I don't really have a desire to put all my focus in collecting OT7 for Japan cards. I think it'd be funny if I turn around next year and end up doing it, but for the longest time I have felt no desire to do so, and I feel like I continue to feel like that. I don't feel a need to collect OT7 for Japanese photo cards, but you know, never say never, especially on this channel. Currently though, I'm pretty happy with just having a small singular Japanese binder. There's a lot of merch in the Japanese backlog that I do not have, and I'm currently pretty okay with it. I feel like I've curated this section to be one that I really enjoy and like, so I'm just going with it. Here's for you, and then I will say, I forgot to mention at the start of this that everything in my collection is official unless I tell you otherwise, and here is me telling you otherwise. This is a pre-order benefit from a Japanese store when the album came out, but it's not an official pre-order benefit from Big Hit. It's just what the store was giving out at the time of purchase, which makes it unofficial. So it does look like his Taiwanese postcard, but it's not. It's one of the purchase benefits from the Japanese stores when you were able to first buy this album in stores. So I just wanted to note that. Eventually I do want to get the Jimin equivalent, which is the Taiwanese card. I also feel like this page is very confusing, so I guess I'll just describe it. This is the Taiwanese HYYH Part 1 postcard. This is the Taiwanese HYYH Part 1 group card. There's more than one of these. I only have the one. This is the HYYH Part 1 HMV postcard, and this is the unofficial purchase benefit from a Japanese store when you could buy HYYH Part 1. I feel like this page needed some explanation because it looks like there's a lot of sneaky things in here, but as you can see from the back, these are the official ones. This is an official HMV postcard, and this is the unofficial purchase benefit. Moving on though, this is one of my most favorite pages in my collection. With Kayonenka, it also includes the Taiwanese press of Young Forever as well. Moving on though into I Need You, this one is one of the signed venue PCs for I Need You. Of course, as always, I would love to get Tae's equivalent of the signed card, but it's more of a purchase of opportunity if I'm ever able to find one. For youth, I actually have some larger inclusions. This is a customized page that I made for the venue pre-order benefits, and then this is the handshake card where the member actually stamped the postcard. So I made this page, and then I made the Tae equivalent page as well. Really happy that I was able to fit those inclusions in there like this. And then for these clear posters, I am very aware that Jimin's are backed by white paper and Tae's are not, and it's because I got Tae's relatively recently, like a couple months ago, and I hadn't had time to make the white paper yet, so I just decided I was going to put them in and I'd go back to it later, and then I just haven't had the chance to. But then as I was looking at it, I was like, do I like them without the white backing? I might. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to make white backs for Tae's clear posters or if I'm going to take out Jimin's white backs, because I feel like I like them in both ways, which is why weirdly Jimin's are white backed paper and Tae's are not at all. If you haven't noticed, this binder goes in chronology, and so I decided to also put the BTS The Best photo cards in chronology as well from the time that the photo was actually taken. This is when these items came out, so that is why they're there if you are curious. And then here are the Love Yourself Taiwanese postcards. They obviously look just like the Korean album cards, but they are in postcard form, and they were available in the Taiwanese version of the album. Definitely one of my favorite pages in my collection. And then we move into, again, mixing the original release cards with the BTS The Best cards, because I think it just looks really good. Here it is for Light's Boy With Love. I have a random changing jacket. beginning to map the Soul 7 the journey. There's a lot happening with these cards because obviously there's a lot more released, as we've stated already, as the comebacks go on. And then we end with the version A and B cards of BTS the Best, and the slightly out of order map the Soul 7 the journey larger inclusion postcards. So next I will get into my solo binder so we can continue the trend of album cards. Here we are in my solo binder. This binder is one of those that obviously really came to fruition in the year of 2023. That being said though, it's definitely one of those binders that's not going to be in existence much longer because it definitely needs to be reorganized. As you can tell, it's a very full binder, and I don't want the weight of everything to start warping everything because it is so full. So this is probably the last time this binder on this channel is ever going to look like this, but started it off with an OT7 set because I thought it was the best way to start the collection. We quickly move into the astronaut. Obviously the astronaut came out in 2022, and I am very eager and excited to see what Jin decides to put out once he is done with enlistment. But that is what I collected for the astronaut. We have his poster closing out the section. Then we move into D-Day. I loved D-Day so much. I really like my setup ultimately for D-Day. I feel like I went through a lot of growing pains with this part of my collection, was my D-Day section, but ultimately I'm really happy with the way that it turned out, and I'm happy with all that I was able to collect for D-Day. There was quite a bit to collect. I didn't collect everything, I just collected the stuff that really stood out to me, and I'm really happy with what I collected. I feel like there's not really a missing hole in my heart for what I don't have. I'm just really pleased with what I do have. Unofficial alert, these are the Weverse digital download PCs, so while they're official images, they're obviously printed unofficially because they were never actually printed. So just as a flag if you're curious what these cards are. There's also PCs like that for Face as well, which you will see. Here are the larger inclusions, and then I did have the wonderful opportunity of going to see Yoongi at his Newark show, so I was able to get some of his concert merch in person. And then we move into Jack in the Box. So I did start with the Hope Edition poster, but I do separate Jack in the Box and the Hope Edition because I collected enough to keep them separate. So here is the first initial release for Jack in the Box and what I collected for this release. I also have his Jack in the Box merch cards, which are in progress of being reorganized, so you're not going to see them, but wanted to flag that as well. And then we have the Hope Edition stuff, which is organized more by color than anything at all. So I have 2 pages from that. Includes some lucky draws, some exclusives, and the album cards as well. And we are closed out by the poster. Then we have Indigo. Considering he didn't give us a lot of selfies, I honestly really like how my Indigo section worked out. This is the first time that I really started using dupes, and I implemented that kind of method moving forward for later releases once I saw how effective it worked for Indigo. I think it looks really nice, and I think they blend in. And in the solo collections, the use of dupes just really doesn't annoy me. I think it's funny, like if I was going to ask myself in the past if I was a person who would be collecting or utilizing dupes, I probably would have said no. And I feel like in general I still feel that way for my greater collection, but as it relates to the solo collections and when you're trying to make a solo member section work, I feel like dupes can be your best friend if you let them. So that's just my 2 cents. Obviously fillers can be used too, whatever is your preference, but for the solo collections I've just really enjoyed using dupes. Now we move into Face. He didn't have a poster, so I used this one, and then I start with the broadcast cards and the lucky draws from Japan. We've got some pre-order benefits, the Weverse cards, the PVC cards. We have the full regular page of album cards. He was very nice to me as a person who uses 9 pockets and had the perfect amount of album cards and lucky draws for 9 pockets, which I really appreciated. These are spots that are getting filled in. The 2 vinyl PC, and then the documentary fan meeting screening PC is going to go here. And then we have the larger inclusions. These are pages that I made to hold the poster in. I'm really proud of how these look. I think they look very nice, and I organized them by concept, so I just really love how Jimin's entire section looks. Face was my favorite album of the year, so I'm just especially happy that I just like the way that his section works so much. and then the ticket from the fan meeting is going to go here as well. And then this may be shocking to you if you have never watched my videos before, but I basically decided to keep all of the cards that I collected for face and for layover, alt privileges, or alt insanity perhaps, whichever way you want to cut it. But essentially after this collage, all of this stuff is the main collection, and then after this collage are the dupes. So I do have a dupe page of cards that I got from the benefits and also the production diary, and then I did keep all of the album cards that I pulled. I bought face a lot because I was buying it from Korea, Japan, the United States, the lucky draws, all that kind of stuff. I just ended up with a lot of cards. So that is the face collection. But if you are a frequent watcher of this channel and you know that's not actually the case, this is actually the rest of my face collection. I will not bore you with going through it. Just to remind you that it is here, I have the broadcast envelope as the start, and then I have every other card that I collected for face and did not get rid of. Obviously Jimin had a lot of non-random cards, so that's mostly what this binder is, but this is my face extension collection. Similarly for layover, I did a lot with him as well, as he is my other alt. So with layover, there was a lot to be done in terms of sorting the concept. So I utilized a lot of dupes for layover, and I sorted by concept, which is a lot different, I think, than what you could see what I did previously. So this is the first page. This is blurred out if you're curious because it's the Line Music Winter PC. Other than that though, after that page, we basically just get into the album cards with a few country exclusives dispersed in, some lucky draws. But considering the challenge that I was up against with sorting all of these concepts, I'm actually really happy with the way that layover turned out. It's as cute as it possibly can be, considering the fact that there's a lot of repeating concepts, there's repeating lucky draws, there's just a lot happening. We've got different color hair. I'm really pleased with how layover turned out. These are all the concept lucky draws together, the PVC cards, and the repeating lucky draw concept cards. Then we get into the bigger inclusions, which have a lot going on. I made these fillers that have the lyric pages. These are the broadcast card, postcards, and all of the fun inclusions that you got from the album or from pre-ordering the album. And it fits the perfect amount, which I am just so appreciative of. And then we have his letter that he included in the album. And then similarly with Jimin's, I did decide to do a dupe section, and instead of including all of his album cards just because there were so many, I did one full set of the 3 versions of the album and also the Weverse cards as well. So here's this page, and here's this page, and here's layover's collage. And then lastly for layover, we just get into the larger inclusions. I wanted to store away the 3 envelopes that the postcards came in, so that's what these 3 are. This is just a page from the album because I was so sad we didn't get this concept featured more. And then we have Tanny, because of course this was Tanny's debut too, so we have Tanny section at the back, and that finally wraps up layover. But wait, you know better now, don't you? Of course it's not. This is my layover extension collection, which again, I will not go through with you in painful detail, only to just note that it exists. Here's the broadcast envelope, and here are all the remaining photo cards. If we're being honest, it's not all of them. It's most of them. I just simply could not fit it. Tay was so generous that he gave us so many photo cards that I couldn't even fit them in an extension collection. Anyway, last but certainly not least, we have Golden. So this is the starter poster, and then I have another poster on the back. And then his section is definitely still in progress because I'm still waiting for cards to come in. But this is what I've been able to collect so far. His is almost done, I feel like. I'm just waiting for my remaining Japanese lucky draws, and then I should be done. I did the first round of Korean lucky draws, and then on this very empty page, I will be putting the Japanese UMS Japan Fan Club lucky draws, and that will essentially mean I'm done collecting Golden. Here are the Weverse album postcards, and then the remaining postcards that you could get in his album as well. I've talked about this in other videos, but I think I'm probably going to change around these large inclusions, but for now, I think they're fine how they are. but that is the last page of Golden and also the last page of this binder. Okay, starting off, this Tour and Muster binder is split between 2. It will soon be split between 3 because as you can see, it's rather full. It goes in chronology. I mainly only collect Jimin and Tae for this section of my collection, but there are a few Yoongi and Namjoon things thrown in there as well. To begin though, I feel like I have a love-hate relationship with this part of my collection because for the longest time, and it still continues to feel like this part of my collection feels like the final big section of my collection before I'm basically done with collecting BTS, at least in the backlog. And I feel like that makes me sad. And so I feel like I'm a lot slower collecting this section than I am in other sections because I know that it's basically like the final frontier in terms of my back collection. Pause to say, I am so happy to say that I finally tracked down the last Jimin card. So while he is not here right now, this is a complete Begin set and I could not be more happy. Begin's Jimin is done, so yay. Anyway, back to what I was saying though, I feel like because it makes me sad to kind of mark an end or major slowdown to my BTS bag collection, I'm just really rather slow with Tour and Muster, and it's just because I want to prolong the inevitable of being done or caught up. So I definitely work slower on this collection, but I am really happy with the progress that I made this year. I feel like I added a lot of new sets, a lot of new little cards that I've been meaning to get or meaning to find, like these units for example. Really happy that I did it. I'm so happy I found the units for 22920. I do definitely still want to get Namjoon's set and he will be being added eventually, but just getting this far on 22920 makes me so freaking happy. So yeah, Tour and Muster, I really like the cards. It's just for some reason in my head, I feel like once I'm done with Tour and Muster, I'm basically done with back collecting. So I've just definitely been the slowest on completing this section. And as you can see from me flipping through it, there are things that I'm notably missing and definitely want to add to as time goes on. But I'm really in no rush because I am not in a rush to be done with collecting or back collecting for that matter. I'm gonna wait out the best deals, the best time, all that jazz. Because at the end of the day, I really have a lot of fun collecting and I really have a lot of fun back collecting. So as long as I have a section to back collect, I'm good. And that always just ends up being Tour and Muster. So yeah, one thing I will say, I'm really happy that I moved all of my A pockets basically into those side loading pages. Unfortunately, Love Me, Sleeve Me is no more. So you can't buy the specific ones that I use, but hopefully there is an alternative because I definitely like side loading A pocket pages a whole lot more than the top loading ones because they just hold so much nicer in here. I don't have to worry about them flying out at all. Comment down below if you know of any side loading A pocket alternatives because I'm really currently unaware of them. Anyway, this takes us up through 4th fan meeting, so I will get the second binder. Here we are in Tour and Muster Part 2. You can no longer point and laugh at me for this one anymore because allegedly it is on its way. After seriously, I think 2 years, it took me to find that last Tae card, but it's allegedly getting complete. I'll keep you updated next year if it actually does get complete. Gosh, I hope so. There's some cards, like singular cards in this collection that I was able to track down relatively recently that I had been looking for at least a year, sometimes 2 years in the case of that Love Yourself card. So that can really be a frustrating feature of collecting Tour and Muster cards because if you don't find them in a set, it can be very difficult to find the cards that you're missing. But the risk that you run if you buy it in a set is that it's just all fake. So it's definitely cost benefit analysis that must be done. Because there's obviously fake galore out there, but there certainly are a lot of fakes for mini tour PCs. This is probably, besides 22920, probably the most excited I am of what I completed in this binder. I did complete my full bias line for this set because they are all in a unit together. So I thought, why not? I thought it would be fun, and I was able to safely source these and not fear for their authenticity. I'm just so happy to have completed these 4 sets this year. I love them a whole bunch. Also, I want to apologize because it really looks like the sun is really moving a lot in this video, and there's just really nothing I can do about it. I'm really sorry. I'm hoping that there's not going to be any horrible shadows in editing, because I'm actually filming this, even though you're seeing it like January, I'm actually filming this December 19th. Literally an hour ago, I finished my last exam, and I had to come home and do this because I am unable to bring my full collection home anymore, just because I have separated it so much into these smaller binders that it's just too much to deal with and take home. So I need to do the flip through before I go home. But I'm also going home tomorrow, so if it doesn't get done now, it's not going to get done until I come back in late January, which I obviously don't want to keep you all waiting that long for the flip through. I try to get it out as quick as I can into the new year, so I really apologize if the shadows and the sun are a lot. I don't typically film at this time, but like I said, it's the only option that I have. But anyway, we are almost through, and I can't wait. Next semester, I'm definitely going to spend time splitting these 2 binders up as well, because as you can see, they are very full and there's still sets that I want to add to them, so I can't continue to stuff these with the plans that I have for this part of my collection. So it'll go through some much needed reorganization as well, which I have a lot of fun doing, I can't lie. I think it's funny how drastically different sometimes the organization of my collection looks from year to year flip through, but also even just month to month.
It's massive.
Because I just love moving, shifting, and changing things around. I also have a problem where I love trying new supplies, which is not the most financially feasible situation, but it's where we're at. Forgot to take this page out because I did move the Polaroids that come from this yet to come drop. I did decide to put yet to come in this binder because it was still a performance, though it wasn't a tour. I just thought it made sense here. I might eventually move it someday, especially because all of the merch is a bit spread around my collection now. But for now, this made the most sense. So that is the last page of my tour binder part 2, and also the last page of my entire tour section. First, we're starting with my memories DVD collection, and also includes travel shows, books, documentaries, movies, etc. That is this binder because the binder that I have my tour and muster DVD cards does not all fit into one. So I am not going to redo the whole spiel that I did a few videos ago where I talked about my method, plans, madness for collecting OT7 for DVD and Blu-ray. If you want to go hear those thoughts more in depth, I can link the video down below, but too long, didn't watch. All that to say is I am in the process of collecting OT7. So if you are unaware, I used to only collect Jimin, Tae, Yoongi, Namjoon for DVD and Blu-ray because I kept my collection in an A5, so I was collecting those for everything. I have since decided to expand to OT7, and the first person that I'm working on is JK. So no, I'm not collecting 5 members for DVD and Blu-ray. I am collecting OT7. You are just catching me at this time in my collection at a time where I'm working on the 5th of 7th member. So JK thankfully has been completed for memories, and I've begun working a little bit here and there on Jin and Hobie's as well. I recently added 2019 Blu-ray Hobie to this collection, so they are all incoming. I just wanted to make sure that I was actually able to collect OT7 first by seeing if I could even collect JK, because if I'm not able to collect him, I wouldn't have been able to collect OT7 at all. But I'm happy to say it is all underway. And eventually, good vibes willing, all of these sets will be filled in by the end of next year, and during next year's flip through, it will be a full OT7 DVD set. But who knows? It's impossible to predict what will happen. Possibly reprints will happen next year, don't know. Just gonna have to wait and see. So that is the end of the memories section. And then we get into larger memories inclusions, the live photos from 2019, and then the live photos from 2020, and then the Blu-ray postcards from 21. These strangely sized Polaroid cards from 21 as well. And then this is the divider into the travel show, documentary, movie, all that kind of stuff. Entertainment, basically. So we start with Now 2, and then we have some from Now 1 and Now 3 on this page as well. I think my long-term goal would be to try to collect all the Now 1 cards. I have made some progress, which you will see in the new year. And then after these postcards, we start moving more into the documentary, movie, TV show type thing. This is Jimin's Bring the Soul Lenti, and then I have some stuff from Burn the Stage and Love Yourself in Soul. Then we get into In the Soup. I love these funny transparent cards. They're so fun. And then lastly, I did decide to put the Beyond the Story photo cards in here as well, which is where I'm getting away with calling this a book section as well. But that's the end of this little binder. I will go to the DVD Tour and Muster binder now. Okay, and here is the in progress OT7 Tour and Muster binder. I probably won't do OT7 for the non-photo card size stuff, which is why they start the section, because this is in chronology. But other than that, I really am trying to get OT7 for the sets that I have started in here. I really like DVD cards. I always have. So I'm excited to go back to my roots and focus next year a lot on DVD card collecting again, which I feel like really dominated my 2022, but not really my 2023. So happy to be back where I belong, I guess. I'm also happy that I decided to do this kind of setup because now I get to see the gorgeous backs of the DVD cards. I think the DVD cards have some of the best backs in BTS collecting, so having them on display with these double spreads is something that I really like and enjoy, and I think just makes the binder setup a little bit more dynamic and intentional in the way things are set up. But yeah, now that JK is mostly done, obviously there's still some stuff I was missing at the beginning. Now that he is mostly done, I'm just gonna work on finishing him up. And then once he's done, I'm going to be on the lookout for a Jin or a Hobie downsizer. And whoever I can find the most cards from in that initial downsize is probably who I will decide to focus on next. Because even though I'm doing this, I'm still trying to find the best possible deals that I can for the 3 remaining members. So JK had to go first as just a simple necessity of if I'm actually able to collect OT7 or not. But now since I have decided that I actually am going to, with Jin and Hobie, I'm going to move towards in selecting the next one to focus on. Basically, what is the most trustworthy collector that I come across that's downsizing one of them. And that will probably be my determination because they both got to get done either way. So I'm excited to start working on them next year and seeing if this section grows. Obviously this is a new section. I'm going to put the pre-order ticket here. It's already on the way, but that is why this isn't a empty 2 pocket. That is what the blank space will be filled with. And then here for now, I'm just collecting Jimin and Tae for the charms. Fun fact, even though I asked for all of that feedback on my last video, I haven't actually posted that video yet during the time that I'm filming this video. So I have no idea what you all recommended me in the comments, whether or not I should collect OT7 for the charms or not. As it currently stands, before I read those comments and take that feedback, I'm collecting Jimin and Tae's charms, which I do have, but they are at my hometown. They are not currently with me right now because I was worried about the mail. So I will be getting them soon. Honestly, probably tomorrow because I'm driving back tomorrow. But that is the end of DVD Tour and Muster. And then I just have Army Bomb PCs at the end because you bring your Army Bomb to the tour that we will be having in 2025. Woohoo! Anyway, that is the end of the DVD collection, my pride and joy, and we are going to be taking an A5 interlude. I know we've exclusively been in A4 binders, but I do have some A5s in my collection, so we will be shifting gears into the A5s. Okay, starting off in the first merch binder. If you are a frequent watcher of my channel, then you definitely don't need the spiel of what this binder is, but it's merch cards, venue cards mainly, and also Army Booth as well. So starting off, we do start with Army Booth. This is mostly just a Jimin and Tae section of my collection as well, but there are some other members featured, which you will see as we move on. But these are the last 2 Army Booth cards that I need, so I'm very excited about that and anticipate to complete those in 2024. So I am done. Army Booth is another one of those things where I don't know why I like them so much, but I really do. They give me a similar joy to collecting like the Japan fan club renewals, so that is why I personally decided to prioritize them, because they make me happy. Next are the venue PCs, which is kind of a loose definition, but basically the intention of this section is basically these are all the kind of cards that you could get if you went to an actual physical location. I obviously have not been to many of these physical locations. There's actually only one where I was able to source them for myself, and it's these. I did go to Permission to Dance LA and waited in that incredibly long merch line, and I was able to get these. So other than that, I have not in fact been to the venue of these places where these cards get sourced from, but this is the venue section of my collection, and I think it works out really well. And then the last page are these Photocards. I'm really happy I got these. And then obviously these are yet to come in Busan. Next section are the general merch cards. They don't necessarily have a rhyme or reason for why they are organized like this. A lot of it's just based on vibes. There's like a loose chronology happening, but not really. If you interrogate it too much, don't look that much into it. But I really like these merch cards. I really love being able to stand them upright so you can see them in the right direction in all of their glory, and I'm really happy with the ones that I have decided to get. I definitely am missing a few, but for the most part I feel like I'm generally done with this collection. But who knows, I feel like I've added a little bit here and there in almost every binder update I've had this year, so it speaks to how much I do enjoy working on this part of my collection. I keep just finding things to add to it. Also, as a note, I said this in my last video, but these aren't staying here. I just need to get another page for them, because what's actually going here is the layover merch, which is getting delivered today in my hometown. So I do not have access to the layover merch until tomorrow, which is why it couldn't feature in this video today, but know that that's where the layover merch is going to go. Then we have a little Armypedia section, because I felt it was very difficult to categorize this stuff, so I just put it in its own section in this merch binder, because I also for now only have Jimin and Tae's, so it makes sense it kind of goes in their merch binder anyway. But that is their full and completed set. And then lastly, I do have a very tiny collab section. Personally, for me, collab collecting does not spark joy, so I don't do it very often. I only had this small section of the ones that I like or have been given for free, so that's where this section came about, and which is why I took it out of my main A4 collection. I thought it just made more sense because it was so small in here to be a part of this binder instead. But yeah, that's literally all of my collab collection, so that also marks the end of this binder. Okay, and while that last A5 binder was more focused on Jimin and Tae, this is more my OT7 A5 merch binder. This is mostly Hybe exhibition, Hybe Insight, and general exhibition stuff. So we are first starting out with Butterfly Dream. I also have a fan sign photo, but then we quickly get back more into Butterfly Dream cards. I don't have a lot, but I'm happy with the ones that I do. It's mostly just a Taejun collection. And then we move into Onal. I do have some of Namjoon and Yoongi's as well. And then I do have full sets for Jimin and Tae. They are not organized in any meaningful chronology order. They're not organized by the season. I really just did it based on vibes and what I thought looked the best and the numbers that I was working with. So that's what's happening here. There's really no rhyme or reason. I just really like having these cards in a binder like this because I feel like it makes them more fun to look at, I think, than when they're in a 4 pocket and it's just 4x6 after 4x6. So that is a new change I wanted to implement. Here now we move into Hybe Insight. So I do have OT7 for Hybe Insight because I just think they're so pretty and I just love these cards so much and I love seeing them stand upright. So they are the main driver of why I wanted to put these cards into an A5 because I just thought they fit better than what I was doing before. So here are all the mini PCs for Hybe Insight. I also have the mic badge PCs for Yoongi, Jimin, and Tae. And then once again, we move back into the OT7 sets for Behind the Stage, Hybe Insight, where I have all the member sets. I think these are so fun. So I just had to get them all for everyone because I just think these performance photos are gorgeous. and also represent, you know, a special time before really everything changed. So I'm happy to have them. This last little bit is definitely random, but I struggled for so long to know what to do with these cards, and shout out to D, Tay. I didn't know until watching her video that these actually fit in A5 wide pages, so I decided to put them here at the end because it is an OT7 merch collection, and while I have the rest of this in the tour section, I just thought these fit well enough here because I'm so tired of trying to deal with those weird shaped inclusions. So anyway, now that we saw all the mini PC size stuff, now I just have the bigger inclusions for Hive Insight. I don't know if I'm eventually going to integrate it or not, because honestly, I really like how these large inclusions all flip together and look when it's all the same pocket page. So I think I might just end up keeping it like this. And then I have the proof exhibition funny cards in here as well. And then lastly in this section, I have the 1 pocket size Area 51 postcards from the exhibition that happened in Las Vegas. All right, and then the last section is certainly the most random, but it's really just the section called "You're gonna damage my collection if I put you in my regular A4s." So these are the lenticulars that they randomly released for Jimin and Tae. I did collect OT7 for the photo cards, but for storage purposes, I thought I would just put theirs away. So I have their 2 lenticulars, and then I have these thick Love Yourself, Speak Yourself Japan Edition notebooks, which are so random, but honestly, they look so gorgeous and they fit in the 1 pocket page. So I thought, you know what, might as well store it for safekeeping. So that is the end of this OT7 A5 merch binder. We are now going to move back into the A4s to get through the rest of my merch binders, but no, there is one more A5 incoming in the new year. I just don't have all the supplies necessary for creating it. We are back in the merch binder, A4 size. I would generally consider this binder to be my seasonal binder. I don't think it's changed a lot since last year's flip through. It should generally look the same with a few minor moving around. I feel like what I said at the start of this year in one of my first videos of the year was that I feel pretty content with what I've collected in the general merch backlog, whether it be season's greeting, winter package, or even more random items one could possibly collect in the BTS backlog. I feel like anything that falls under this umbrella and in the next binder, I'm generally content on collecting. I feel like I have reached my maximum of what I want to collect in the back collection. I don't have everything from every season's greeting or winter package or summer package, and honestly, I'm okay with that. I do really like the stuff that I have, but the stuff that I don't have doesn't necessarily spark the same joy. So I'm pretty happy with how this binder has turned out. I would hesitate to say it's retired because truly, who knows? And honestly, I do hope that I'll be able to reorganize it into a black slipcase binder once I have enough. But for now, I'm happy with the setup that it's in and truly enjoy all of the stuff that I have in here. So this is kind of the packages section. As you can see, this is the full OT7 set for summer package. And then I just do a lot of weird things when it comes into filling in some of the gaps. So now we're into winter package, which I have more from this set just because I really liked the inclusions. I thought they were so cute. And that wraps up this part. And then I believe this next section is exclusively Dalmajong because I do love the merch from Dalmajong. I think it is so beautiful. So for the first round, I only collected Jimin and Tae, but for the second year, I did collect OT7. So this is the rest from 2021, and then we move into 2022. Where I got the full set because I couldn't help myself. I really love these dark concepts. By dark, I mean like night concepts. I think it's really cute. I do think the daylight is beautiful from the first drop, but there's something so extra gorgeous to me that they're in the moonlight. So that's Dalmajong, and then we have Little Wishes. So I guess this is like a holiday section. I love me learning the organization of my binder with you as I go, but it's just because I said I haven't made a ton of changes to this binder this year, so I haven't really had a lot of reason to be in it. There are a few things like this is new. I'm gonna put all my memberships at the front. I do also have this from the second renewal. I don't have anything else, so I put them at the top, and hopefully we'll get Tae's because I don't have anyone else's for that right now. Honestly, like how this catch-all 9 pocket works. So anyway, I do have a full set of the postcards for this one, and then I have a lot of really random things for the rest of them until I actually started getting it myself. I'm still sad that I didn't get it when I actually could have. I'm missing a lot of actual renewals that I could have had when I actually became an ARMY in 2018 because I just didn't collect merch at the time. And so I do have a lot missing from this section, but it's okay. It is what it is. I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to have what I have, though I do wish I could have a renewal card for every year I've actually been an ARMY and not just for the years where I was paying attention and buying merch. That's okay. A new addition you haven't seen on my channel yet, but I'm sure you've seen, is this past renewal. I think is so pretty. This is one of my favorite concepts that they've done. I'm happy that we're getting more looks in this outfit. I know I complain endlessly about the door concept for Proof, but I really like these outfits, so I wouldn't be mad if we got a few more sets of them in this outfit, if I'm being honest, because I just think it's so adorable. And then lastly, we have Festa. So I have these postcards from 2019 Festa, and then I have, oh, I skipped a page, 2021 Festa right here, which I do have the full set for just because I bought the entire calendar, so it was easy to get all this stuff out of there. But this is the last section of the binder. Who knows if we will get Festa merch to add again. We didn't really this year, besides the venue specific Festa cards, which is why they went in my venue specific section, but there's room for more if there is released. And then if I ever end up wanting to add another section to this binder, I have another divider as well. So that is the end of this merch binder. I will get the next one. Here we are in what I would consider a more general merch binder. There are things that are sectioned off by dividers, but it doesn't necessarily have one theme like the last merch binder did, where that was all kind of seasonal stuff. This is a lot of random merch. We are starting off with the concept photo books for Map of the Soul 1. So photo book type things go in this section. I know you're probably thinking to yourself, oh my goodness, how many binders does this girl have? When all is said and done, we will have gone through 14 binders together. I will say I think 14 is definitely an inflated number though, because of the way, as you can tell, I've organized parts of my collection in very small binders in terms of their ring size, that I think I've definitely inflated that amount. If I were to actually put my whole collection back in rings like this again, I think I'd more likely be working with 9 or 10, which is still a lot, don't get me wrong, but it's certainly less scary than the 14 amount. But all in all, I really like having a big collection. It's my preference. I know it's not everybody's preference and people are totally entitled to do whatever they want. I don't care what you do with your own collection, but with my collection, I like having a lot of stuff.
Big body.
Continually adding binders to my collection doesn't really faze me because, like I said, if I decided to organize it a different way, I could definitely make that number go down. So that's just kind of where I'm at. Just as a note, we've moved sections and now we are in the merch box section. But yeah, anyway, 14 is definitely a big number, but like I said, I think I'm inflating my own numbers with the binders that I use. I think I'd more likely be at 9 or 10, which honestly makes me happy considering how long BTS has been a group and how active they've been. I feel lucky to collect a group that has such a long history of merch, and you can pick and choose whatever merch you personally want to collect. So I think that's really the beauty of a collection, is you can really make it your own, particularly with a group like BTS that just has so much stuff. What you want to focus on is really how you can make it your own. So now we're in the magazine section. Those were the Hallyu postcards, and then we move into the daikon, I don't know section. These are so funny and have more incoming because there was Vicon Hayes photo book, so I did collect those, and this will actually have an update to the section, so that's exciting and I look forward to seeing those cards. But for now, this is what the section looks like. We have Festa. I still to this day don't really understand where all of these cards came from. Like, I know some are from the big notebook, some are from that in-person event, others are like another release of the 102 photo card set. It was quite a lot for daikon, but I think these cards are really funny, so I'm happy to have them. This section now, I am Positive is definitely the least organized in terms of scents, but it really just is general merch that I don't know what to do with and can't categorize. So these are the pop-up photo cards from House of BTS, and these are the Bingo OT7 sets. I got those recently, very happy to have them. They were one of the little parts of this collection that I would actually actively want to go after instead of having everything, so I definitely prioritized those. And then I have the deco kit stuff here, because what the heck is a deco kit? I know what a deco kit is, but in terms of categorization, I found it very hard to put anywhere else besides general merch. Same thing with these silly lenticular photo cards. I did collect OT7 for them. So here is the full set for those. And then for B, I'm so happy with these selfies. I wish, obviously, as everyone said before, I wish the logo wasn't on it. I wish there wasn't writing on it, but I'm really happy we were getting these new selfies, even though it was incredibly random. I thought it was fun. And then I have the large inclusions from all of the artist made merch that I actually own. So I don't have it all, but these are the making logs for the merch that I actually ended up buying way back when in the first round. And then I have the Do You Know Me BTS playing cards. I pulled out Yoongi, Jimin, and Tae, and some Namjoon as well. And then lastly, I believe in this section, I have the piano sheet postcards. I am nothing but a sucker for eras merch. So anything that takes you through the eras, I love, which is why I ultimately collected the piano sheets. So there are all the postcards, and then I also decided to include the pretty art posters at the end. One artwork piece came in every volume. They did 4 volumes. So this was Boy in Love, and then I have the stickers on the back. This was I Need You, stickers as well, Boy with Love, and then Yet to Come in Busan. Actually, apparently not lastly. Lastly, the only Tiny Tan merch that I have, these were just so cute. I couldn't not get them, so I have them just at the end of this merch binder because I don't really collect Tiny Tans. I don't have a Tiny Tan section, but I had to get these little dessert boys. I just think they're so cute. So with that, this was actually the penultimate binder, which means I will go grab the last merch binder of the collection tour. Here we are in the final binder. This only has one merch item in it because it's actually one of the binders that is going to be redone. It is the OT7 photo folio set. So I did collect OT7 for this set and I set it up in this bigger binder. Honestly, basically a year ago at this point. I remember I spent last year's winter break entirely focused on making this look good, and it is unfortunately time to redo it. And it's mostly just because I don't have use for this binder anymore. I originally thought I was going to put my solo collection binder in here along with the photo folio stuff. Which is so funny thinking back now that I would ever have enough room for that, but that's last year me's problem. That's what I was up to and that's what I was thinking.
Me, just me.
So essentially this is going to be the last that this photo folio section ever looks like this, which makes me happy and sad. Sad because I really like the setup, but happy because I feel like my collection's outgrown this current setup, so it's time to work on something else and to redo it. We can just go through this rather quickly. I feel like a lot of people have seen this section on my channel, so I don't really need to talk too much about it, but I did work really hard on getting this all together, so I'm up for the challenge though. We can't mourn what needs to be changed, and it definitely needs to be changed. I can't just keep this binder around just for this collection, so I'm excited for the challenge. I feel like I'm up to the task to redo this again. I will probably keep similar elements, but it's just not going to be able to look exactly like this because these are oversized pocket pages, so I can't just throw this into a regular size A4. But that's okay. Some of the most fun I have collecting is in the creative pursuit, so I already have some ideas of what I'm going to do. And also I feel like a lot of people who make collecting content have shown really cool ideas for what they do for their own photo folio sections, so I will be drawing inspiration from those people as well as we say goodbye to this section for the last time. It is so pretty though. I wish I could save it. I'm really proud of what I was able to accomplish in this binder and using kind of a completely new size and setup. It's definitely fun to challenge oneself when it comes to using new and different sizes relating to your collection. But as with this video, as with this binder, all good things must come to an end. So hopefully we'll like the new iteration even more, and if not, oh well, it is what it is. Here we go in our last section of the collection, our lovely vampire.
Twilight.
And that's officially the end. Technically, I didn't do a flip through of my fan sign binder, but if you want to see that, it's in Instagram reel form on my Instagram, so check it out. Otherwise, you have seen every single binder in my collection. Like I said, that is 14 binders, most definitely an inflated amount there. We can end it on this page. I just wanted to thank you if you made it to the end of this video. If you watched any video of mine this year, I sincerely appreciate your support and your interest in my collection. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Please like this video if you did enjoy. You can comment down below if you would like to, and subscribe if you want to see more content from me. And I will see you all soon. Goodbye.
Get the hell out.